I was in my room when the call came across to assemble in Observation Room 7. There was a lot of new faces after the recent promotions. One of the few friends I had here was even promoted to commander and given command of his own teams. He started as a researcher like me, then advanced to field work, and after a few years here we are. I'm still here doing research, and he's been advanced in status. I'm alright with that, though. I'd much rather deal with the things we see on a daily basis in here, where we have at least some semblance of safety, as opposed to going out into their territory in order to bring them back here. And that was further reinforced when they brought in the guy that completely wrecked my world. He was some rambling, drooling nutjob that everyone thought was blind because he wouldn't look at you when he talked. He would instead look past you or in some other direction. He would never look directly at anyone. The guy both looked and acted like you would expect from a crazy person. His eyes were huge and bugged out of his head, and his hair was all long and stringy, and grew out of his balding head in patches. His skin was wrinkled and fairly aged, but he didn't really look all that old, just in really rough shape. He only had a few large teeth scattered about his mouth, and with how thin he was and how odd he was, one could easily assume that drugs were to blame. But that wasn't it at all. We found him in a mental ward after a cop picked him up, running butt naked through the woods and fields near Birmingham, New York. The man rambled non-stop nonsense. He talked about his days at the university before moving on into a rant about space and stars. Then he would talk about friends of his, followed by shouting obscenities at some unseen thing in the shadows of the room. There was obviously nothing there. We were in a secure facility, so that was highly unlikely. This was something different. He appeared to have an extreme case of nyctophobia, or fear of the dark. He couldn't even handle seeing a shadow in the room. He would freak out until the source of the shadow was removed, and the only way to calm him for questioning was to do so in a brightly lit room. Once we were in the room with sufficient light for him, he became much more coherent, and he told us some things that I really wish he hadn't. "The moon blinked at me," he said. "It blinked. It blinked and I saw it," he added. "Saw what?" I asked. "I saw it. The thing that lives everywhere and nowhere. The Lord of the Void. The Master of the space between and all within. The living darkness of the abyss. It's endless. It's forever." The man rambled. "What do you mean?" a fellow researcher questioned. "I was like you know, a researcher. A professor at the university. I was Dr. Adam Warren, professor of advanced physics at Birmingham University, right here in New York, you know. At least, I think we're still in New York." He began to appear confused and disoriented for a moment. "You claim to be Dr. Adam Warren, but sir, Dr. Warren went missing over a month ago, and I'm sorry, but you do not resemble the missing man at all. Do you know the doctor's location?" questioned the other researcher. It changed me. I'm not me. I mean, I am, but I'm not. Not really." The man looked around the room as if he were trying to figure out how to say what it was he was about to. "It has many eyes. Billions, trillions, near infinity. It can see everything with its endless twinkling eyes in the vacuum of its empty being. Its eyes all made of different substances, but all of them see. All of them see. Stone, water, magma, helium, mercury, hydrogen. Whether solid, liquid, gas, its infinite eyes all see and feel and taste like tongues. They sense like flesh, and they can hear and feel the vibrations of life. Entire civilizations rise and fall across the surface of its eyes. It's infinite. It's the endless darkness of the cold void of space. And we're all living in it and upon it, on the surface of its eyes. We walk across the mountains of its corneas and into the valleys of its retinas. We swim and sail the vast whites of its eyes, never knowing where we are, or that we are but mitodysopsis across the eye of the void. The rambling man revealed to us. What? What are you saying? I asked him. I saw it. It changed me. It changed me, made me different, but the same. I don't know how to say it. I'm me, but I'm not, the odd man informed us. It was only upon closer examination from several researchers that we discovered that he was, in fact, Dr. Adam Warren. Exactly who he said he was. His features were all similar, yet distorted with age. He looked very much like he had been partaking in illegal substances, but a hair test came back completely clean. It was as if he had just aged dozens of years in a month, causing his hair and teeth to fall out and his skin to withdraw and wrinkle. He didn't really look old, though. As I already stated, his skin just kind of sat on his flesh in a weird way. I told you who I was, and who I am. And that I don't feel like me. I don't feel like anyone. I feel like it's here, because it is. We're on it, on its eye. One eye across endless eyes in endless space, all across the empty void. The void is everything. It knows everything, and it sees in the darkness of its being. We can't escape. Never. There's nothing we can do. I don't know why I try. I don't know why I run, or hide, or how, or why. I don't understand. I don't understand. The man rambled. So, tell me if I'm correct, a fellow researcher said. Outer space is a living being, and the moon, the stars, and the planets are all its eyes? She asked him. Yes, ma'am, he answered. How did you see the moon blinking? No one has ever recorded anything like that in all of history, and you would think that something like that would be seen on the news. Another researcher attempted to debunk him. Different angles provide different perspectives. I was just in the right place at the right moment in time. Or maybe the wrong place at the wrong time. He trailed off a bit. There are endless eyes. Any one of them can blink in any moment, but with a number near infinity, the likelihood of us witnessing it, I'd say, is pretty slim, the man attempted to deduce. The woman researcher then followed this up with a question that, even with all of my time at Icarus, is the only thing that really keeps me up at night. A question that brought a look of terror and realization from the man. The one question the woman asked was, what happens if Earth blinks?